Hi guys, hope we're doing well today. My name is Julian Roy, sales coach and trainer, and today I wanted to share a story with you. I absolutely love this story because I think it's something that we can all relate to. It doesn't matter what walk of life you're from, whether you're a house husband, housewife, somebody in sales, finance, IT, or even if you're unemployed, because I think there's a lot of themes running through this story which we can all relate to. And as a sales trainer, I mean, I work with a lot of salespeople over the years that I've been in the field of coaching and training, and working with entry level people who are very new to sales, perhaps from leaving school, to very experienced people who've been in the industry for a long, long time, are closing very large, sizable deals. And the interesting thing that I've observed over the many years is how some people will just persevere and persevere and persevere. Will When we talk about thick skin, I'm talking skin, the thickness of a crocodile. They will dodge all incoming. Okay, they will go through the minefields and they will get to the other side and smell of roses. Okay, celebrating their success because they've been through that vast struggle. Okay, then you got people who I think will give it a go maybe for weeks, maybe months, you know, but eventually think, do you know what? This is just too hard. It's not for me. I'm going to go on and do something else. And I think the lesson learned from this is the when we talk about themes from this story, a lot of it is to do with success, failure, dedication, commitment. But I think the fundamental lesson that we can all learn from it is the lesson that we learn when things don't go our way. What do we choose to do? What is in our power to do when things do not go our way? So the story is about a young man by the name of Darby. Now he was caught up in the gold fever back in the good old wild west days. So he packed his equipment, very pretty basic equipment, and went to dig and grow rich. Now the fundamental thing that Darby did not grasp at the time was that in fact more gold has been mined from the brains of committed people than has ever been taken from the earth. So after weeks of digging and hard graft, blood, sweat, and tears, he was in fact rewarded with the shining ore. The only issue was that he needed machinery to bring the ore to the surface, so very, very quietly he covered up the mine and retraced his steps back home. So he did tell a few trusted friends and family members, a very close circle of trusted ones, and they got the money together for the much needed machinery and had it shipped, and Darby went back to the mine. So after a couple of days of digging, they did in fact hit the vein, okay, and it turned out and transpired that they did in fact have one of the richest mines in the whole of Colorado. So what the thinking was is that a few more cars of that ore would clear the debt, and then would come the big killing in profits. So down went the drills, up went the hopes of Darby and his team. But guess what, guys? Something happened. The vein disappeared, and they had come to the end of the rainbow, and the pot of gold was no longer there, essentially. So they did persevere for a little while. You know, they drilled on desperately, trying to find and pick up the vein again, but unfortunately to no avail. So finally, very, very disheartened, they think, well, well, we can't find it. They decided to quit. So what they did was they sold the equipment to a junk man for a few $100s. Now the junk man, he had enough insight to actually think to himself, right? They stopped digging. I'm going to consult a mining engineer, and that's exactly what he did. So he hired a mining engineer to look at the mine and do a little bit of calculating. And the mining engineer advised that in fact the project had failed because Darby and his team were not familiar with something called fault lines. and his calculation showed that the vein would be found just 3 feet from where they stopped drilling. And guess what? Hey presto, that's exactly where it was found. So that junk man, he actually went on to take millions of dollars of ore from the mine, quite simply because he knew enough to seek expert advice before giving up. Poor old Darby, on the other hand, most of the money that went into it, the machinery, was procured through the efforts of Darby, through friends and family, as we mentioned. At the time, was a very young man, and he made a commitment that because that close circle did believe in him, did trust him, put probably a lot of their life savings into it, made a commitment that he would pay back every single penny of that money, and he did. It did take him a number of years, but he did in fact pay all of that money back to him. So you might think, what happened to Darby? Did he go into some hole? Did he disappear? Did he obviously kind of not want to show his face ever again and mope around? No. In fact, what Darby did long afterwards did in fact recoup his losses many times over, when fundamentally he made the discovery that desire can be transmuted into gold. And that's the fundamental thing here. Desire can be transmuted into gold. This story is from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. And one of the sayings in there, which I really, really love, is that whatever we can perceive and believe in our mind can become a reality. So it all stems from a thought. And that discovery came after Darby went into the business of selling life insurance. So remembering that he had in fact lost a huge fortune, and because he had stopped 3 feet from gold, Darby actually profited from his experience through his chosen work by the simple method of saying to himself, yes, I stopped 3 feet from gold, but never again will I do that. Okay. And he went on to become a very elite members of an elite team who went on to sell more than $10 million worth of life insurance annually. Back in the day, 10 million, guys, you imagine what that would have been. Interestingly, Darby said that he owes his stickability to the lessons that he learned from his quitability in the mining business. And I think the fundamental lesson that we can all learn from this little story is that before success comes in any of our lives, we're sure to meet with temporary defeat. And when defeat does overtake us, do you know what? The easiest and perhaps the most logical thing to do is to quit. And no surprise, this is what most of us do. But interestingly, if you look at all of the major entrepreneurs like Branson and so many of the other ones, what the common theme is that their success came just one step beyond the point at which defeat had overtaken them. And I think the overall moral and lesson that we learn here from this story, and hopefully which you can take away, is failure is in fact a trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping us up when success is almost within our reach. So guys, hope you found that helpful. Do feel free to connect via LinkedIn or any other means, but I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and take care.